Everybody, I am Corey Truax with North Greenville University.
And I'm Dallas Vandiver. I'm an assistant professor of Christian studies and associate vice president for student ministries.
And here is everything you need to know about Dr. Carl Trueman's upcoming visit to North Greenville University in 5 minutes. Actually, I'm really into Dr. Carl Trueman's work, so we're going to add an extra minute to this discussion. Dr. Vandiver, let's start here. Why are we bringing this big public intellectual in the Christian world to North Greenville University? What's our purpose?
Yeah, Carl Trueman is one of the most helpful historians of this era.
No doubt.
And he's written a book called The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self. I have it right here. It's handy dandy. And this book won so many awards. But one of the things he's doing, the reason we're bringing him, is he's helping us understand where we are, the world around us, and that is going to give us a better idea of how to make disciples in the context in which we live today.
Us being a college campus, I want to start here. If there's a North Greenville student watching us, local college student, asking why should I come listen to this public intellectual talk about these things? What's the appeal to the college student to show up?
Yeah, I think Dr. Trueman is going to help us both in the area of identity and mission. And so for students, we live in a culture in which the common idea is that your identity is chosen, not given.
Yeah.
And the biblical category is, well, no, it's given, not chosen. And in living, our flourishing is going to come as we live as God has designed us to live. That's actually for our good and for His glory. So it can be a struggle sometimes to distinguish what are the things that I see and hear in the culture that are telling me who I am and all the possible options open to me for finding meaning in life and finding my identity, something I would need to discover in that sense. And Dr. Trueman is going to help us clarify what are the cultural winds that are blowing so that we can more clearly see what Scripture tells us. But then in the notion of mission, we want to be salt and light in the world. We want to be in the world and not of it.
Good.
And if I'm looking at the Bible and saying, well, God, who am I? If my identity is given, not chosen, and I want to be salt and light in this world, we all come to the text of Scripture with biases, and we want to have a clear sense of what God says in His Word and be able to distinguish that from the Kool-Aid, so to speak, that's swirling around. Yeah.
There's been a lot of, in this generation, I would call it identical listlessness, just not being grounded and rooted. And if you have struggled with that as a college student, I am telling you, this is the type of content that can help you find your moorings and identity coming to hear Him. But, we also benefit our local churches. So if you're a local pastor, you're a local church member here in North Greenville is hosting this, what is the appeal to them to come out? How might they benefit by being here?
Yeah, I think the way we make disciples, Paul tells us that we are to become all things to all people, that we might by all means save some. And that is going to involve us understanding the people that we're speaking to so that we can communicate the gospel more clearly because we're contextualizing, understanding the categories that they're working with. That will help us actually. We want to be thoroughly biblical in our categories, but we want to know what they're coming to the conversation with so we can communicate in ways they understand. And then just compassion, right? So I want to have compassion for my neighbor, and part of compassion for my neighbor involves recognizing that we are given God's truth. It's not something we're so smart that we arrived at or we kind of drummed up for ourselves. No, God speaks to us in His Word. And Church members need to know what it is like to say, oh, like I actually have sympathy, compassion for this person in front of me that is deceived by the lies that are in our culture right now, and I'm going to confront that lovingly with truth. Carl Trueman is going to help us with that.
I love that you use the word confront it, because to confront something is by nature dialogical. It's in dialogue. And great scholarship that breaks through to popular crowds is in dialogue with the culture around it. It's confronting something. And so you are the first guest on Everything You Need to Know that's brought props. I'd love for you to walk us through some of what Dr. Trueman has written as the dialogue. What's it dialoguing with culturally? So you brought those with you.
I'd love to give them to you in order.
Please.
So this is my nerdiness coming out here, but I've mentioned Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self. This book came out, I believe, 2020, and just happened that our culture was going through a lot at that period anyway, with people trying to think in our culture about identity issues. And Trueman applies his historical powers, research, but as a historian to get at how do we get to this point? How do we get to the place where he makes the opening comparison of his grandfather living in the World War II era in England And he said, if my grandfather had been confronted with a person saying, I am a woman who is trapped in a man's body, he could not have made any sense of that. Plausibility structures would not have made sense. How? What do you mean? And so he's in some ways writing this book, Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self, to help us understand how did the world shift where that could make sense.
That's very good.
Now, he came out with Strange New World as kind of an abridged version of the same thing. It's giving us very helpful categories, both these books are, but of things like social imaginary. What is the air we breathe culturally? And that's what I've been talking about. We can drink the Kool-Aid. We've got the cultural wind. Social imaginary. What are the stories we tell ourselves to give us meaning? And so he talks about that and expressive individualism. And then we've invited him, especially initially, to talk about To Change All Worlds, this categorization of people based upon the different factors about them, from color of skin to other things. And as it turns out, he's going to get to apply all this research to helping us understand even a new idea here, his book, The Desecration of Man, helping us see how culture shapes our doctrine of humanity.
This is unbelievably helpful in getting the breadth of what you will experience. If you come on out to hear Dr. Trueman and get into his works generally, you will understand the world around you better if you come hear what he's doing. You will find on your screen here the link you need to go find more, to register, to come. Final, I guess, encouragement, folks, to come on out. Dr. Vandiver, how would you close us?
March 24th, and this is at 7 p.m. We would love to have folks hear Dr. Trueman speak, and then a panel follow-up discussion with him.
Fantastic. Thank you for the time very much. We'll have more on everything you need to know coming up, but don't forget, coming up here on campus, Dr. Carl Trueman next month. You can find more at the link on your screen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.